that was more refined APIs, right? You don't have to do groundwork and much more ready-made API, right? The same here, these platforms are available with much more functionalities. Just I'll give 2-3 features of that. One is like, they have got some, again, like I would say, I would call those APIs or actions. Platforms are available with 800, 900 actions, which talks a much high level. You want to send your war or deploy war into your application server, you just need one API, you don't need to do it in multiple steps. You have simplified it, right? Easy to troubleshoot, right? Then at the same time, you have workflow-based release automation. Workflow-based release automation, like most of the automation, if existing, if it is manual, is fine. If it is existing, it's done through script, shell script. But 1,000 line, 2,000 line shell script cannot be understood, cannot scale. You know, it will have maintenance problems, and that is where people have come up with workflow kind of platforms. You basically, it is so advanced and intelligent that literally it shows you. You know, if I would have got time, I would have shown you the demo. It literally shows you the flow. You know, captures each and every step of your deployment, and it will give you exact what problem. You can logically, if it passes what you want to do, if it fails, it's a workflow. It's like the way we used to make flowcharts in our algorithms, right? That level we have optimized the scripting or the deployment procedures, right?
That's the collaboration here. I mean, through workflow only you achieve everything. Collaboration.
Workflow, okay, but
otherwise,
see, workflow I would say okay to extent, but that platform, right? See, I was like, let's take two teams, right? Earlier that guy, as I was mentioning earlier, that guy was doing in a PAL. Other guy was doing in a shell, right? One guy says yes, this other guy said no, it doesn't work here. How do you collaborate? But this guy doesn't understand PAL, other guy doesn't understand shell. How are you going to solve the problem? Right? That is where standardized platforms, where everybody works on that platform, right? So this is, and then as I said, monitoring, delivery pipeline, automate. So one of the mantras I want to stress here is, which is very important, is that DevOps is going to be achieved if you will do automate, automate, automate. So that's the whole mantra, and I just want to read these 2 lines, very important. If you see my top message says it's all about unified process and unified tooling and breaking down the silos. That's the whole mantra. And the second, if you see, it's the root problem, the bottom problem. It applies for Agile or anything. As a part of systems thinking approach, DevOps is about respect, cooperation, and trust among the individuals who do the work. A wall of trust needs to be created. And if that is done, neither you will have problem in Agile, implementing Agile, nor in DevOps. If this is not solved, if trust is not created, if you still work as whatever tools you bring, ultimately nothing will happen. So this is the message. So thank you all. Thanks for listening.
So I would like to thank Mr. Manish Mishra for giving such a good presentation on DevOps. So you can just mix up with the speakers and Mr. Manish Mishra in the lunch break also if you have any questions or doubts. So the next presentation will be Mr. Raj Stanley. He is Head of Technology from Huawei Technology. So his topic will be on DevOps Capability Building Block. So I would like to welcome Mr. Raj Stanley. Please welcome, sir.
That is the one. So which means it's going to be more practical. Why I'm saying is, when I started making presentation, I was more inclined towards explaining what is DevOps, kind of thing. Then I thought that presentation slide will go on and on, I have to give some industry figures, all those things. So I thought, let's have it as more of conversation, more of engagement with you, and limit my presentation slide to maybe 4 to 5 minutes, like that. So what I will do is, what is DevOps in our context? I will quickly explain. Maybe one person can just volunteer here, just for a few minutes. So just one person can volunteer. Can come here? Anyone?
I don't know what you're asking.
Okay, come. Don't worry. So, assume you can be there. And so, assume that I am Jess and she is Ops. And we are just doing, she is also doing the work. Is it DevOps?
No.
Then we both are seeing each other and also saying, hi, hello, how's things going on? What's the problem? Is it DevOps?
Kind of.
No.
Maybe I forgot to say, this is a wall, okay? The so-called virtual wall. So I remove this wall and then, I'm coming and saying, hi, let's work together. Is it?
If you discuss the problem, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Is it? What we've got is a level above, you come this side. We are walking together this delivery pipeline throughout.
Yes.
Is this DevOps?
Yes.
Yes. This is what we are following.
This is an extension of cross-functional team
Yes.
Agile.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The Dev and Ops are not just shaking hands and collaborating, they are walking together towards the delivery pipeline. Some scientists say, scientists, I don't know, I don't want to quote this, like when, happy married couple, when they walk together, or when they live together, maybe 5 years like that, they started thinking like each other. They started, knowing about their problems without expressing the problems. I don't know how much truth it is. However, in the DevOps, in the world of DevOps, that is where you are working together, you are also experiencing the problems faced by each other. So that is one. Now, you have still is taking, so I can just start, extending.
So can we say it is not just cross-functional, but it's also cross-technical?
Yes, every aspect.
Every aspect.
Now, coming to this, our scenario, it is much tougher because I am from a technology background. Of course, certain Agile, all those things, our Huawei, of course, how many of you know about Huawei? So we are ICT, product telecom organization. And, our challenges are quite different. It is not that dev is one, ops is one. We have multiple devs, which means several pockets of development, and several pockets of ops, which means it's N is to N relation, which makes it much tougher for us. And there is also open source community. So, our solution is not just the product developed by us alone. There are products developed by third party, who may be our competitors, there could be some open source coming up, there could be some other components which we don't know. So it's a collaboration of all development side and then with operations. Operations also there is separate, so there will be members for a certain market level, certain zone level. So there are different kind of things. So it becomes much complex. N is to N is the one. Okay. So that kind of problem is there. So as he mentioned, Manish mentioned rightly, in ICT telecom, the DevOps movement is pretty tough, and it cannot be just like that and done like an industry, in the internet industry, where you have your own hardware, so your own products gets deployed in your own hardware. It's quite easy, but you don't have a control over the hardware. You don't have control over the components, all the components of a solution. Then it becomes quite tricky. But anyway, so what I did is I slightly changed, even though I'm going to talk about the capability of DevOps, so don't get disappointed. I slightly changed into a way of fast and predictive value delivery. All that what we are going to do, whether it is Agile or it's a continuous delivery or DevOps, is what kind of value that we are delivering to our end users. Right? So that's the reason I just slightly changed. However, the things will be same. So as I mentioned, I'm not going to talk about DevOps. I'm not going what is all those things, real problems or real kind of solution what we have done. So it may be right, it may not be right, please. And if there is somewhere we are wrong, please explain. Please share it with us. We are happy to take it as. So what we have done this framework is 6 sense of value delivery. That's a very typical thing. What we are what we have done is there are several movements happening. There is Agile, which focus on continuous development. This area, typically we call it a Scrum area. They are just focusing on software development. There is suddenly continuous integration, maybe at this level or at this, top of that build level. And we are also having continuous delivery, deployment ready. So what we have done is we have done this, made this framework. I'm not going to explain much about this framework, 6 Cs. So it's C, each C we are making it continuous development, build, continuous integration, delivery, deployment ready. It's not deployment because it's not possible in our scenario in a very fast period of time of directly deployment. And here if you see, it's not just we are saying this is the dev part, this is ops part. No, it's both as dev and ops. Here also is ops and dev. Both will be part of this journey. And over here, if you say the continuous customer feedback, which assumes that this guy is a customer, and it's going to the solution, it's going to the product, and it's going to the platform. So that is our way of thinking. We have platforms, several platforms constitutes a product, and products of each and everything assemble it, give us a solution to our customer. Okay. So, and here you can find. I'm trying to put it as you could able to see it's like a guy smiling kind of thing. So I think I failed it. So these 2 eyes and then continuous customer experience. Why we have made is when you get into the world of Agile and thinking of DevOps like that, what you really miss is what basically customer want. How is the experience? So that continuous customer experience, all these pockets. We have initiated tasks, we have initiated actions, top strategies, and then together. So this is a 6 sense of value delivery. Details maybe in the lunchtime you can discuss more, but let's focus on what this particular presentation.
Raj, can you comment on what's the deployment frequency? You said you can't achieve continuous.
No. Ready. No deployment frequency.
No. So typical, because you also use continuous customer experience,
yes.
right? So now there's a disconnect.
Yes, please.
And so my question is, what is the frequency of deployment in production?
No, it is that like how we are saying in the Agile world, 50 deployments per day, 60 deployments per day. It is not. However, deployment readiness. How much our product are ready to get deployed, because from the telecom aspect, from the time your deployment ready to the actual deployment in the maybe Airtel or like that, there are several processes are required to be followed. So for your question, deployment readiness, yes, we could able to achieve 70% compared to the previous. Okay, earlier we could take to make one deployment ready, we spend around 6 months. Now we could able to every week, any kind of change, we could make our product deployment ready. Understood? The actual deployment is a separate thing that you may be looking at the SI, the system integration aspects, where our products will be integrated with third-party components. That is a separate aspect. But the deployment readiness, we could able to reduce to 1 week of any change. That answers your question.
You could relate it to user acceptance, where the user gets a chance to look at the product and give the feedback.
That also, when you say deployment ready means, example, my product, Alcatel-Lucent's product, even that simulation test, everything is ready. But it's just a matter of deploying in the live or production environment. That particular thing, we cannot do. Of course, that need to be simple.
So the question is, we have not done a deployment into production. So
Live production.
Ops has not seen the product in action. Customer has not seen the product in action.
Yes.
So how do you claim that?
Yes. But the simulation of product environment on the customer environment. See, Airtel example. Let's take Airtel. There is a light, which goes on, and they also have a simulated environment, which managed by the GNOC or like that. So our product gets deployed in a simulated environment on the customer aspect.
Okay.
From there to actual, when you get, deployment at your mobile or like that particular is a matter.
Okay. So in this case, customer is Airtel, not the end user of your product, right?
No, not
it's okay.
Carriers.
Maybe hybrid
Carriers.
deployment.
I think you
It
should,
could be a hybrid deployment.
I think you should use continuous delivery.
It goes there, and then they will deploy on the line.
Yeah, but that's not their concern. I mean, there's barrier here.
His point of, yes, it is an extension of a continuous delivery. When we say, that's the reason I put deployment ready. It's not actually continuous deployment, readiness for that, which means after this, it's just a, traditional or, some ceremonial way of just moving into it. However, I cannot claim this is, we have done for all products, certain products which we are taking for granted. Any other doubts before we move to the next one? So how we have planned and certain activities we have also initiated is, when anybody talks about Agile or anybody talks about continuous delivery like that, they only talk about those goody words, which is coming out kind of thing. But what we said is, forget about all these things. The basic platform is these four, which means these are the pillars kind of thing which we have made. Let's talk from the perspective of organization process and business process. In my, what I mentioned, over the panel discussion also I was mentioning, the first thing is look at your process, look at your current organization process. It starts from policy, it starts from your culture, it starts from your management's thinking, management strategy, or all the things focusing towards the value delivery of content. I'm not, example, one guy from the panel discussion from Siemens, he asked this question, how do I convince my management to to convince to follow Agile? That was a question. All of that is like, even they have a thinking Agile means that programming or TD like that. Okay, anyway, just something they told. What I'm trying to say is, we have set the vision, this is what current status, and this is what you have to achieve. We asked them to figure it out. And the management team, the senior management team came up and said, this is what the actions that we should do. So here, the first thing we focused on, changing the organization's thinking, changing the people's thinking. We found 2 years before, no one knows what is continuous delivery in our organization. Managements. So management, they are, only 20% of managers know what is continuous delivery. However, 70 to 80% of the guys who are low there, they know more about the continuous delivery. So there is a kind of gap between the thinking and understanding. So what we made is this area of implementing the process. When I say process means not the documents alone, it includes the culture, it includes the way that they work on the fine-tuning, all those aspects. First we have cleared and figured it out. Okay? And sometimes it happens in a kind of organization which is SCPG or some kind, they will have their own process, and the product teams, they will have their own process. So there will be disconnect between the process, what it is, and then what they follow. Then that becomes very difficult. So we also connected with what is the process, what are the changes required, and what are the new aspects that they are doing. All those things we convert into a streamlined process. Why we made that is to ensure that we apply lean. Of course, I don't have to explain lean. It's waste. It's one of the factor of lean is to remove the waste. You can remove the waste only if you know where the waste is. Okay? Waste are sorry. And this helps us to understand where are the areas that it's actually waste. What are the processes that really not getting followed by the people, or people are following in a very non-systematic way. So these kind of ways are identified and step by step eliminated. Of course, you cannot eliminate everything. Step by step eliminated. Once you have the system in place and clean the system, then you can make innovation of continuous delivery or value delivery. So that is our principle of make the system, clean the system, applying lean management, okay, and then communication and collaboration. Of course, many people have spoken about it. Here, some practical problems we faced within in the panel. Again, I mentioned this one. Within the development team, there is no connectivity. They don't talk to each other. Architects, designers, programmers, testers are there. they themselves are not collaborating, they themselves are not discussing, talking, then what is the question of talking about dev and ops? So communication and collaboration, we have definitely HR played a very important role in this, and knowledge management played a very important role. We bring those people together virtually, through community of practice. On how many of you know knowledge management community of practice like that? So we brought them together, had kind of open session of what are the kind of good practices that they do, what are the kind of lessons learned they do. So it's a kind of connectivity discussion which we initiated, and we also sent some people from dev to ops, ops to over here, just to have a feeling of how it's going on. Okay. And one more thing I forgot to mention, ours is not just the collaboration between development and ops, there is also market. Market team is also, they should also collaborate. So this is a complete cycle. Market team, development team, ops team. So they all three have to collaborate for the better product. So that is the fourth one we have made is a customer knowledge management. Really, what are the various pulse of the customer? When I say customer, it could be even from a development to another development. That is could also be. So which means I am saying internal customer. So you are developing a platform which is going to be used for the product. So they also, we treat them as a kind of inputs. So what kind of feedback that they provide. So internal customers as well as the external customers, feedback and mechanism also. Sometimes we get the feedback once in 6 months. We get how many of you follow that? Once in 6 months we go and get the customer feedback, and then the nice charts we made. After that, I don't know how much we take it up. We make sure it's not just stop at the 6 months kind of ceremonial way. You do it in a continuous basis. So we have cleaned up that traditional silos which is there between customers and us. Okay. And here I mentioned customers. It could be the carrier, that could be external customers, or internal customers. Even the ops team is also we play as a customer. They provide. So the complete feedback mechanism. The previous slide I mentioned about the feedback, the right side, the customer feedback, solution feedback, product feedback, platform feedback, all those things combined. Why we have to combine? Because a customer is giving feedback and their platform, which is at the last level, they don't know what is the kind of input that they have to have. You got it? So because it's a huge